It's not that introverts can't come up on stage and speak. They can. I measure 98% on the Myers-Briggs scale. So I am a 98% introvert, standing here speaking in front of you. And honestly, I am terrified. I get terrified every time I come on stage. But as I said in one of my presentations, once terrified, I try to be terrific. Okay? Hopefully, I'll get close to terrific today as I try to explain to you something called table topics. What is your biggest fear with table topics? Can anyone tell me? Yes, sir.
The topic, you may not just know anything about it.
You may not know anything about the topic, right?
Like the beauty lies in eyes. I don't know what to say.
We'll come to that.
Thought process, sequential
Thought process.
delivery. Yeah.
Okay. You're getting closer. Anyone else? Any other?
Okay.
Yes.
What if I come blank when
Yeah.
I get the topic?
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to table topics, my mind goes completely blank. I don't know what.
And I promise you in another 45 minutes it will stop going blank. I promise you. Anyone else? Any other fears?
Speak, think, and present all together simultaneously on the stage.
I'll tell you why table topics are difficult. How many of you believe you are not storytellers? That you are not storytellers. I'm going to ask the obvious question. You don't think you're a storyteller. You can raise that high, and I'm not going to ask you to tell a story. Okay. All of you are wrong. Because if you say that you are not a storyteller, then you are being disrespectful to the hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. And I'll tell you why. Excuse my handwriting, if you think it is ugly, you should see my drawing. So, I'm not going to draw, I promise. 3,500 years ago, the first alphabet, we have the proof of the first alphabet, the written alphabet, 3,500 years ago. Okay? $6,500 years ago, we saw the first drawings. And we have proof that the first drawings appeared somewhere around 6,500 years ago. What you're trying to tell me is that we've been telling stories only since 6,500 years ago. Do you think that is true?
Yes.
We've existed for over 200,000 years. And you are telling me that for almost 190,000 years, no one told stories. That is physically impossible. Everyone told stories, and those stories were passed down from generation to generation to generation. So when you tell me that you don't have a storyteller inside you, you are disrespecting 200,000 years of evolution. Okay? Today, it's not as much about table topics as it is about telling a story. I believe that there is a storyteller inside every one of us. I believe that the world needs storytellers. And just to illustrate that, how many of you think that global warming or climate change is an issue? How many of you think? Oh, super, lot of hands. And how many of you turn on air conditioners during summers? Don't blame yourself. The problem is not the air conditioners. The problem is that the story on global warming or climate change has not been told in a way that it should be told. Okay? I'm going to tell you a story. It's the story of a lake in Africa. Have you heard of a country called Rwanda?
Yes.
Yeah.
And have you heard of a country called Democratic Republic of Congo?
Yes.
That's very good. And are these countries on your travel plans?
No.
For obvious reasons, right? Now, these countries, apart from having a history of violence, of civil unrest, of genocides, they also have one more thing in common, and that is a lake. The name of the lake is Lake Kivu, K-I-V-U. Now, Lake Kivu is about 90 kilometers long at its longest, and at its widest, it is about 50 kilometers wide. And it is around 450 meters deep. Okay. Now, if you were to dive into this lake with the right kind of equipment, you would find, other than water, huge amounts of carbon dioxide dissolved in the water. The composition of the rocks is such that it is releasing carbon dioxide into the water. Now, we studied science at least till class 8, right? We know that carbon dioxide dissolves in water under high pressure. That's the principle behind your Coke cans. When you open them, they go fizz. If you've ever tried to shake them and open them, right? Champagne shower, as we like to call it. So, imagine tons upon tons of water containing tons upon tons of carbon dioxide. So far it is stable. But let's say a seismic event happens nearby. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption, something happens. That balance is disturbed. Churning is going to occur. The water at the bottom is going to try to come to the top. But as it comes to the top, the carbon dioxide is under less pressure, so it will not remain soluble. And just like when you shake a Coke can and open it and all the Coke comes out, all of that water is going to come out. Tons upon tons of water in the form of a giant tsunami. 10 million people live along the shoreline of Lake Kivu. They will not die because of the tsunami. Not many of them will die because of the tsunami. You see, carbon dioxide is heavier than air, and before it dissipates into the atmosphere, it's going to form an envelope. Every living thing will die an asphyxiating death. 10 million lives will be lost. Do I have your attention? Two countries you're not even willing to travel, but suddenly now you're concerned about 10,000 lives. That's the power of a story. Now, somebody, a better storyteller than I am, went to the authorities and told the story and said that 10 million lives are at stake if you don't do anything about it. So now what they've done is they've installed pumps into the lake. Yes, in third world countries like Rwanda, in DRC, with a history of genocide, with a history of civil unrest, with a history of violence, countries that nobody would normally care about, somebody went in and they installed pumps into the lakes. Now those pumps, they are taking out the carbon dioxide in controlled quantities. But along with that, something else is happening. And that is, methane is getting produced. Now methane is being used for fuel purposes. Now, as I stand here in this room, I see around 15, 20, 25 storytellers. And I'm wondering if one of you is going to go to the right authorities and tell that story about global warming in such a way that people sit up and take notice. Because now it is not 10 million lives at stake. It's our entire population, more than 6 billion people. And that is the power of a story. How many of you have cast a vote ever? How many of you voted for a particular political party? A particular candidate? Okay, a particular ideology? You're all wrong. Nobody votes for an ideology or a political party or a particular candidate. Every one of you votes for a story. Every one of you votes for a story. Okay, the story explains how a person like Hitler was able to mass mobilize an entire nation. And how somebody like Saddam Hussein could not encourage his countrymen to stand up to what he called invaders. The story was not told in a way that it was supposed to be told. Today I'm going to teach you how to tell a story. And I'm going to tell you why table topics are difficult. You see, what is the most important part of a speech? Can anyone tell me? What is the most important part of a speech?
The story.
There's a story. I just spoke about stories, so obviously story.
Message.
Start.
The way you express.
the way you express, okay? Yeah, in a way.
Content,
Structure, content. Who said content? Okay, super. You're getting close.
The message you want to deliver.
Excellent. Can you have a round of applause for this? It is the message. When you're coming up on stage and delivering a speech, a lot of us think that we are trying to tell a story, we are trying to win a contest, we are trying to be the best speaker in a day. End of the day, think of it along these lines. You have a message. And today I'm standing in front of you, 25 to 30 people, and I'm trying to deliver a message. Now if one of you walks away from this room saying that I'm going to do things differently going forward, I've done my job. And that is why, you recognize these, right? Integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Where do you think that a contest ranks in terms of these core values of Toastmasters? Integrity, respect, service, or excellence?
Excellence.
A lot of people would say it is excellence. In my view, it is not excellence, it is not respect, it is not integrity. It is about service. Why? Because if I was speaking in a contest right now and there was all this audience, maybe I've come here to win a contest, but more importantly, I've come here to deliver a speech. And if by my speech one of you decides to go and decides to do things differently, maybe gives up smoking, hopefully gives up alcohol, but be more aware about mental health for that matter, or be more informed about artificial intelligence, although I'm not the best person to speak about intelligence. Then I've done a service. I've changed your perspective, and that is the idea behind the speech, the idea behind the story that you tell. You try to change a person's perspective. So next time when you come up on stage and when you deliver a speech, when you do a table topic, don't think about how difficult it is going to be, whether I understand the topic or not. Think about what can I say today that will make them do something different. And the reason that table topics are difficult is that we try to tell a story and deliver a message. Right? The idea behind telling a story is to deliver a message. We've been doing that since we were young. We've had the story like the fox and the grapes. What's the title of that story? Sour grapes, and then there is a moral at the end, which is kind of a message. But in table topics or in impromptu speaking, the message is already given to you, and you have to construct a story around that message. Which is why it is difficult, because we are used to a story followed by a message format. Okay, we are used to people giving us long lectures and at one point feeling like asking them, what is your point? What are you trying to say? Right? So, for example, my mother has this habit. So one day the washing machine at our house stopped working, right? And she was going frantic, and our maid was going frantic. A lot of people were going frantic. And I was looking up for the service center number, who to call up and everything. So suddenly my mom comes in and she says, it's done. I'm like, okay. And then she goes about to tell the story of how my maid called up some person and how she went on a video call with that person and how that person helped her out. I'm like, is the machine working or not? That's all I wanted. So that we have this habit, we want to come to the point, okay? Here the point is already in front of you and you have to construct a story around it. How do you do that? There is a method, I'm going to share it with you. I've already shared it with Bonnie and he will share it with you. But before I get there, I read somewhere that a leader is somebody who knows the way, who goes the way and who shows the way. Let me try being a leader today. I challenge anyone to give me any topic and I'll speak on it for 1 to 2 minutes. Anyone. Anyone? Come on, right? Yes, ma'am.
Stock market.
Okay. In my opinion, stock markets are something that I will never understand. I say so because I am horrible at the subject called finance and accounts. Let me explain what I mean by that. In another life, I was doing postgraduate diploma in computer applications from Delhi University. And you know what? I would have been the highest scoring student in that program if only I had cleared my finance paper. I never cleared it. My teacher tried to help me out in one of the examinations. Even then, I did not clear it. Okay? I failed with good marks, I will say. 32 was the highest I ever got in finance. So, to your point, I do not understand stock markets. How many of you said that you did not understand, you do not understand the topic? I did not understand the topic, and right here I gave her an answer. What did you feel about the answer?
You spoke about stock market.
Don't analyze. What did you feel?
Honest answer.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Somebody else give me another topic. Yes, sir.
Life after that.
Life after death. In my opinion, I seriously believe that there is life after death. The reason I say so is, I want to see who is going to cry when I die. For example, I know that my mother is going to cry, but I don't know if my wife is going to cry. You see, when I die, I'm probably worth more when I'm dead because I've got this hoard of insurance policies that of which my wife is a beneficiary. Don't tell her this yet. Okay. I have a home loan running on which I'm insured, and if I die, my wife doesn't have to pay another EMI. Don't tell her that. Okay? But I also want to know whether Sushant will cry when I die or whether Neha will cry when I die. I really wish, to your point, that there is life after death. How did I do?
Great.
Okay. I really don't want an evaluation, but did you see a structure in both the topics? How did I start? Yes, Bonnie. You have the diagram. Just no, you don't get to answer. Sit down. I mean, okay, you are already sitting down. So, how did I start? Anyone?
Personal experience.
No.
Personal experience.
No. I used a sentence. If you remember. Oh, God.
In my opinion.
Okay? In my opinion. My second sentence was, I say so because. And third sentence was, and my final sentence was, did you notice these four sentences in both the topics? In my opinion, I say so because, let me explain to your point. Did you notice these four sentences? Okay. Let's start by naming these. When I'm stating my opinion, what am I saying? I'm stating my opinion. Okay? Opinion. Okay? Okay. When I say because, I'm giving a reason. Excellent. Okay? When I'm saying explain, I'm giving either examples or I'm giving an explanation or I'm narrating an experience. Right? Let's just call that an explanation. Okay? You don't have to write any of this down because I shared the graphic with Bonnie and he will hopefully share it with you. Okay? And then when I close, when I say to your point, I am restating my Okay, first letter of the word opinion is? Okay. First letter of the word R is?
Or
Oh, sorry,
reason.
reason is R. Explanation?
E.
An opinion?
Oreo.
Oreo.
How many of you like Oreo? I hate you all. I hate Oreo. I seriously don't understand what's the point of an Oreo shake. Okay. But this is the Oreo approach to dealing with a table topic. How many of you were having problems with structure? You should no longer have a problem with structure. Because the moment somebody says that this is your table topic, if nothing else comes to your mind, in my opinion, follow it up with your opinion. You said beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. In my opinion, beauty does not lie in the eye of the beholder. Okay? I say so because what if the person is blind? How is that person going to see? Let me explain. I work with visually impaired people, and I have to explain to them what a what a sunrise looks like, and I have to explain to them what colors look like. So seriously, I don't think that beauty lies in the opinion of the beholder. But what have I done here? I've taken your topic and I've negated it. And you can do that also. You can negate a topic. But this structure is going to work for you always. Okay? Now, do you think this only in table topics that you can use this structure? Where do you think you can use it? Huh?
Prepared speeches are
Prepared speeches, right?
interview.
Huh?
Interview.
Thank you so much. Somebody's thinking outside Toastmasters.
Small talks.
Tell me something about yourself. How many of you hate that question in an interview? I mean, come on. Prepared a 5-page resume and then you get that job offer that says that, apply for this position. You click on the link and you see another 10-page form that is going to take you about half an hour to fill up, and all you're doing is copy pasting values from your resume into that form. You realize how frustrating is add another work experience, add another education. You've done all of that. They've called you for the interview and you're now sitting in the lobby and they make you wait 3 hours. Why? Because the person who's going to interview you is in a meeting, right? And after 3 agonizing hours, a lot of cups of coffee and possibly water and visits to the washroom, you present yourself in front of the interviewer, who has your resume in front of it, mind you, and who also has your profile on their computer. And the first question they ask you is, tell me something about yourself. I've never felt more defeated in my life. Sometimes I feel like answering, I can't tell you something about myself, but I can tell you a lot about you. You are one lazy person. But seriously, start with in my opinion. Okay? Take out a point that is not there in your resume. If nothing else, in my opinion, I'm a person who does not like to waste time. Okay? How about, tell me about your biggest strength? Difficult to answer. Start with in my opinion. In my opinion, my biggest strength is this. I say so because of this reason. Let me explain. Give some examples of your strengths, where the strength work for you. So in my opinion, my biggest strength is this. Then there is this another favorite question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yeah. If somebody asked that question in 2015, I'm pretty sure nobody got it right. There were 5 years after 2015 was 2020, and we all know how 2020 went for us. Right? But start with, in my opinion. In 5 years, I see myself doing something like this, and I say so because, if anything, the person will like the structure that you are giving to your answers. Group discussions. Start with your opinion, but try to be fast about it because people tend to get bored every time you say in my opinion. I know my wife is bored. And she asks for my opinion. If I go in my opinion, she reaches for the nearest projectile that she can hurl at me. But the thing is, try to reach your opinion as fast as possible. But consider this: when you are having arguments, when you argue with people, what are you doing? You are exchanging examples. Why don't we have productive debates on television these days? You know, there are Arnab Goswami sitting in one corner of the screen and there are 10 other people occupying 10 other corners of the screen. Why do you think those debates are not productive? Because everyone is fighting on examples. They say that they did this and this person will say they did this, and whoever has the louder voice thinks that they have won. I as a viewer think that I just spent 5 minutes of my life that I'm not getting back. How about if people started with stating their opinion? I don't believe that that is the case. And I say so because there was an incident where this happened. Let me tell you about that incident. And then they go into the incident. So this is why I believe that that is not the case. Oreo works everywhere. I've been doing Oreo since 2017. I can practically do it in my sleep. Okay? Today when you go back, I want you to start doing one Oreo topic per day. If you can do this, just one Oreo topic per day. Okay? You're going to be, and your contest is on the 20th,
Yes.
right? And today is the 6th. You start doing it today, you're still 15 topics ahead of your competition. You've practiced 15 topics. And I'm not asking you to practice specific topics. I'm asking you to get into a behavior where you start with your opinion, you give your reason, you give your explanation, and you summarize using your opinion. Now, I assume that you have pens and papers with you.
Yes.
So I'm going to do it in a very simple manner. Oh, we have time. We have time. So I'm going to give you a topic. Okay. Just write down an Oreo approach. Nothing comes to your mind, in my opinion, I say so because let me explain it to you. Should not be difficult. Okay. Your topic is my favorite social media platform. My favorite social media platform. Just write it down. Start with in my opinion. Go to I say so because. Can I have this water if it's okay?
Yes.
If you're done, just let me know. Done? Done? You're a guest, right?
No.
You're a member. You're a Toastmasters. Huh? So let's start with you. Can you read out your topic?
My favorite social media platform is LinkedIn, and I say so because it gives a platform to professionals to connect with each other. It also allows them to interact with each other and network with each other, and they can share their opinions and thoughts with each other and help them grow.
Okay. You started with your opinion, you gave your reason, and you combined your reason with example. All you needed to do was close with your opinion and segregate the example. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Well, in my opinion, LinkedIn is better social media platform, which I say because it is an informative platform where you can get many information and new experience from the people, and you can build a network over there. And let me explain how I am saying this, because suppose you do not know about some topic, and when you desire to want to get it, you connect with the people. So it is a better platform where you can connect with the people, and if you go there, you find your desired thing that you really want to know about something. And I want to come on my topic. Suppose you want to get a job, so you may also build a connection over there to get a job, and that will help you in your personal growth as well.
Close with your opinion.
So, in my opinion, it is wonderful if someone is wanting to get some new experiences and want to get a job over there. So, he
In
will
my
connect with the
opinion,
people.
my favorite social media platform is
LinkedIn.
you close to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir.
In my opinion, social media should not be your favorite. If it becomes your favorite, it not act as a tool you get obsessed about it. For example, if you get obsessed about any platform, be it LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, you end up spending more time with your favorite than your family, friends, and other stuff that you should be doing. And because of that, you end up being a more lonely person. This is the reason where there is more suicide in the society. So, to my opinion, social media should only be seen as tool, not as your favorite or not so favorite.
Super. Anybody else? Yes. Ma'am.
In my opinion, Twitter would be my favorite social media platform. I say so because till date I have not used it. I plan to do so in near future. I have used Facebook, WhatsApp, which I didn't like. So let me explain. I find Facebook, WhatsApp frustrating the way they eat up hours of my time, and I end up thinking it was a waste. So maybe I'm hopeful I would like Twitter someday when I use it.
Okay. You got it almost right. Your reason was quite long. Normally your examples are supposed to be long. We'll close with one more. Yes, Neha.
I believe that all platforms have their own importance. My favorite platform is Instagram because you can build your brand over there, you can market, you can advertise there, and you can easily market to a huge audience if you want so. Let me explain. I've seen so many travelers, so many influencers, fashion influencers that have built their brand in almost 2 years or in some months. So at last, my favorite social media platform will be Instagram because I feel if used in a particular way to build a brand and to make yourself a brand, it's a very good platform.
In my opinion, my least favorite social media platform is Instagram. I
It's
say so
you.
because I cannot make head or tail of it. Let me tell you why. I still don't understand why I must record my videos only in the portrait mode and not in the landscape mode. I don't understand why my photographs have to be of a certain dimension. It is so limiting because I am a person with multiple dimensions, as you know. Hence, my least favorite social media platform is Insta. And my son uses it also. And I think it's a waste of time. But I'll come back to that later. All of you gave examples, and now it's time for one final lesson, particularly when it comes to examples. Okay? You're a chartered accountant, right? Anyone who's a chartered accountant? Okay. So you called me to talk about table topics, and I'll say no. I'm going to talk about goods and services taxes. They are going to be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this guy. He says that he's an expert on goods. But how many of you would be interested in listening to me? You would not be. Because first question is, who are you? Right? Who are you? And we have this concept called ethos. Ethos is who are you? Ethos, whenever you're telling a story, there are 3 parts to it. The first part is ethos. Who are you? Who am I to speak about GST? Okay? Who am I to speak about maybe physics? Things goes on. But am I the right person to speak about public speaking? Probably. Right? Because I got lucky enough to go to Chicago. Okay? But the thing is that why should people listen to you? Ethos. The second one is called logos, and logos is your message. What are you talking about? Alright? Remember I said that the story of global warming is not told in a proper manner?
Yes.
If you are able to explain your message in such a way that a 13-year-old can understand it, 1-3, not 30, 13-year-old can understand it. It doesn't matter if you're talking about goods and services tax, it doesn't matter if you're talking about boson, it doesn't matter if you're talking about a limbic eruption, which is what I was talking about when I was talking about Leikibu. If you can explain it to a 13-year-old, you're scoring on logos. You have to make it simple for them. Okay? And the last one, but the most important one, pathos is the passion or the emotions or the feelings that you arouse when you give your topic. How many of you listen to Man Ki Baat from a Prime Minister? How many people do you think listen to it? Hundreds of thousands. Okay? Now, your opinion about the Prime Minister does not matter here. You may dislike him, you may like him. That does not matter. What matters is that when he speaks, hundreds of thousands of people turn on their radio sets and they listen to him. Why? Because he speaks with passion. He tells stories. Okay? He tells stories. The way you tell your stories, your pathos is your first most important thing when you tell your story. You might be giving the most informative speech, you might be giving the best advice to a teenager. It will not matter if you cannot tell it like a story, if you cannot tell it with passion. And the way to tell it with passion is to speak naturally, to converse. The second most important thing is ethos, where you establish your credibility. Logos is the third most important thing. So if you were worrying about what if I don't know the topic, you're worrying about something that does not even matter. And I'll show it to you right now. I'm going to play a song in front. I'm going to play a song to you. Listen to the song. You've heard the song, right?
Yeah.
Good. How's the tune? Happy? Peppy?
Happy.
Makes you want to dance? Okay. Now I want you to listen to it again, but this time focus on the lyrics. Just the lyrics, okay? Not the tune, nothing. Lyrics. What does the person say? the lyrics happy?
No.
They're sad.
Sad.
That music was your pathos. That tune was your pathos. That's the reason why you listen to a Spanish song and you don't understand a word in Spanish, but you still dance to it. That's pathos. And that's the reason why Logos is number 3. By the way, this also tells you another story. How many of you are hell-bent on getting your language right? Every T crossed and every I dotted. This is what it matters. You're ignoring 93% of the way you can express for 7%. It's not your fault. We've been brought up in this way. We've been brought up to write essays, to write passages, to write letters, to write emails. We've been brought up like that. We've not been brought up to express. 93% of what you're saying is not even coming from your mouth. It's not verbal. 38% is vocal. And you just listen to a song. Lyrics were verbal. The tune, it was the other 93%. Why did I make you listen to a song and explain the concept of ethos, logos, and pathos, which to many of you might have been alien? And why did I talk about 7%? Because in the examples that most of you gave other examples. None of you gave a personal example. When you say, let me explain, give a personal experience. Moment you give a personal experience, 3 things are going to happen. First, you're going to speak with passion. Why? Because you're speaking about yourself. Second, ethos takes care of itself because nobody knows you better than you do. Third, your logos does not matter anymore because you're speaking with passion. Okay? It's the basis on which stories have been told. Is the basis on which stories are remembered because you tell them with passion. You remember how some teachers were able to explain things better to you than others, and therein you formed some favorite subjects. Okay, like she chose aeronautical engineering or aerospace engineering. She wants to be very specific about it. Because at some point somebody told her a story in such a way that it made sense to her and it became clear. So, before I close, it's time to have. Oh. So, I'm going to close with a story from one of my favorite TV series, The West Wing. Okay, it's written by Aaron Sorkin. Anyone heard of Aaron Sorkin? No? A Few Good Men, The Trial of Chicago 7, The Social Network, all written by him. Okay? Then, West Wing, the story goes that there's a guy who's walking down the road and he falls into a hole. The walls are very steep, he cannot get out. So he starts calling out people for help. A doctor walks by and he says, "Hey doc, I'm down here, can you help me?" The doctor writes him a prescription, throws it down the hole, walks on. Then a priest walks by and he says, "Father, I'm down here, can you help me?" The priest writes him a prayer, throws it down the hole, walks on. Then his friend, Joe, walks by. And he says, "Hey Joe, I'm down here, can you help me?" And guess what Joe does?
He also jumped.
Joe jumps into the hole. Now a guy says, "Are you stupid?" Because now we're both inside the hole. And Joe says, "Well, I've been here before. I know that we're both inside the hole, but guess what? I've been here before. I know the way out." Hopefully, I'm talking to a bunch of Joes today. Because I showed you a way, hopefully a way out of table topics. Okay? So my advice, jump into that hole for somebody else and take a dive into table topics. It was an honor being your presenter for today. Thank you very much.